talk, we have a new guest in the studio, the governor of Machakos County. Before we welcome him to the show, let's hear the proverbs of Madagascar.
Yes. The first proverb from Madagascar. Don't be like a shadow, a constant companion, but never a comrade.
Don't be like a shadow, a constant companion, but never a comrade.
Yes.
This shadow, when you are tired with the load you're carrying, will never tell you, let it nikusaidie.
No.
Shika pandei.
No.
Whatever you're going through, it'll just be there.
Sometimes it's there, but it's invisible, especially where there's no light. And depending on the position of the sun, it will be directly under you. And it will be there.
What do you call the people from Madagascar?
The people.
Malagasy.
Malagasy or Malagasians?
Malagasy.
It's the Malagasy. So what do you think the Malagasy had in mind when they came up with this proverb? Walikuwa wanachoma nani?
You know, I wouldn't be able to answer that question comprehensively. Sijui, as they say, who walikuwa wanachoma nani. But what I do know is this. Proverbs emanate from keen observations of everyday life and the relation that we have either with the environment that we live in or with other people. Yes. But it's a very compressed documentation of that observation.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. ALFRED MUTUA.
Yes.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Asante sana. I'm very, very happy to be here. And I want to say salamu nyingi sana to your listeners and viewers from across the country and the international spectrum. And always happy to be here among great thinkers and great people who know how to chambua mambo. And today I tried to get a colored shirt to match him. You know, because Muga here always wears very colorful outfits. So nikasema utaona leo nimekushinda. Leo kwa adifiki.
I must say, roses are red, violets are blue.
Well done.
All mine it's maroonish with a touch of purple, which is the colors of my party, Maendeleo Chap Chap.
You're in good company. These fellas know nothing about color.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I'm also happy to be here because I see you've started with the right proverb to set the tone or the voice, and I can read between the lines, and I know you're saying that Raila is a shadow of what he used to be, and he's a project, so he's you can't see the shadow at times, you see something else, but we know what you're talking about.
You know, you're such a politician.
No, I'm just a communicator.
Yeah. Dr. ALFRED MUTUA, there's a promo that we play here. One of the times that you came to the show, and you were talking about, the challenges of governance.
Yes.
And the challenges of governing a country such as Kenya.
Yes.
And you said, you are there, you've been given the mandate to serve people a meal. So you're there, you're trying to serve a meal, and instead of the chef being in the kitchen helping you cook, the sous chef is out there. He is the one who's katakata in kuni or doing all these other things, So the sous chef at that particular point, you are referring to the deputy president. And saying the deputy president should be supporting his head chef to prepare the meal for the people. And now you're on that side.
No, I think, after a while, you realize that the problem was that the sous chef realized that the chef was actually poisoning the people and was trying to get the people to go against the food that was coming from the kitchen, hence they are being poisoned. So later on you realize, wait a minute, we've been thinking this guy is not very serious with cooking, but it's because the one in charge of the menu is actually trying to give diabetes and all the other funny diseases to the people, and is trying to urge the people away from that spectrum. But, politics is, I can call it a game of interest. It's about political interest. It's about developing interest. For people like myself, it's all about where are we going as a country, and where are we coming from, and what is the best for this. And if you ask me the right questions, I'll give you the right answers.
Why do you then present the position that you're different from other politicians who do not, as you say, participate in this sport with their interests at the fore?
No, I'm not saying I don't participate with my interests at fore. My interests are at the fore, definitely, because I'm human. But my intentions are a bit different, I think, from the traditional, maybe so-called African politician, quote unquote.
How is that?
You see, I went into politics as a means to an end. I didn't go to it just because I wanted to be in politics. I don't like politics per se. I'm more comfortable engaging in processes of development. But in the setup of governance all over the world, it's in politics that you get the power to actually carry out what you need to carry out. But the problem with politics in Kenya is that there's a lot of deception and there's a lot of self-interest. Not self-interest for you and your community, but personal self-interest about your own, and your own family's interest, not the interest of the other. And that bothers me a lot. Because you sit down with these gentlemen, you sit down with these ladies, and you find at the end of the day, it's all about how they are conniving for themselves, not conniving for the rest of us. Whereas maybe in politics in other countries, as people are thinking about self-interest, they think about their own self-interest and the community. Let me give you an example. If you want to know a corrupt country, if you want to know a country that is poor, yet rich, is a country where you'll go and find a very big mansion surrounded by roads that are dilapidated. So this guy will build a big mansion for himself and his family and his friends, but because the roads around are also helping the neighbors, he'll never fix them. He'll never think about giving to the community. So that value, we call community value, is not there in a lot of the African nations. People will take care of themselves, Instead of dealing with crime, they'll build bigger fences. They'll hire more security guards. Instead of fixing the potholes, they'll buy bigger cars with better suspension. So I think that's a difference, because there are others with self-interest. Like I lived in the US for a long time, lived in Australia. Yes, a politician has self-interest. They want to acquire power. They want to be in power, But they're also concerned that the neighborhood they live in, that the school their kids go to, that the schools their neighbors' kids go to, that the water that people drink around them is safe. You know what I mean? So there is more of a community value. I don't know whether you're getting me.
I'm getting
you. But there's a different mentality in politics, especially in the developed nations, whereby you say, yes, it's good for me, but it's better when we are all the same,
I understand. I can hear what you're saying. But I think what confuses me, and what may confuse others as well, is that when we look at ideology, whether it's political ideology or otherwise, is that it is fundamental. It is inherent. It doesn't change between today and tomorrow. And that those who practice it believe it. They practice it as a result of an intimate, inherent belief. And so then it is difficult for you to be there today and then be on a totally different ideology tomorrow. So then the question would be then for you, Dr. MUTUA, then why did you, or how then were you able to change? Or what was the thing that then made you move from one point to the next? If indeed that fundamental ideology was yours, these things that you're talking about, provision, social development, etc., if you believed in them, how were then you able to make a switch?
I've not made a switch, actually. I've just been consistent with my beliefs. The reason I moved is because I realized I was in a house that was not keeping to my fundamental beliefs and ideologies. So I have not done a spin. I have not flipped. What I've done is I've changed alliances and gone to the house that I believe will be better off, not for myself only, but more so for the people of this country. Let me answer the question that a lot of people have been asking me. Why did you move from Azimio? And it's good for me to give a background for people to understand that this was a very, very difficult decision for me to make. More so because I'm very consistent in my politics and my policies. I stood by Mwai Kibaki for all those years. I supported Mwai Kibaki. When Uhuru came, I supported Uhuru. During my second term, running for my second term, they said, MUTUA, why don't you support Kalonzo and others? Because others will be finished. NASA will finish you. They came to Machakos, they said, NASA, NASA. I NASA'd them. I went back because of the work that I had done for the people. People did not vote for me because of, the shape of my face. They voted for me because of the works that I had done. But I kept to my stand. So when President Uhuru Kenyatta called me and told me, we are forming this movement called Azimio. It was this movement called Azimio, and it's a good place. and we are thinking that you have been supporting us in Jubilee for a long time. You've been standing with us. You should come on board. I actually even went and made part of his team. I thought, okay, let me be consistent. This is the house that I've been into. But then I started seeing cracks in this house. And I quickly realized this is not in keeping with what my expectations are. This is a totally different, spectrum. It's like you go to a church and you're expecting there to be a priest, and you're expecting there to be a pastor, or you go to a mosque and you're expecting to be an imam, and you're talking about Allah, you're talking about Jesus Christ, and then halfway in there you realize, no, you've gone to a witch doctor's den. They are doing things that are not really in keeping with the faith that you believe in, and yet you entered there thinking you're getting to the right place. Let me fafanua. You see, things started falling apart with the so-called coalition agreement. You spoke very well when you talked about the innate beliefs, and that is why in the US, when they take you before the Senate or the Congress to be confirmed, they even dig back, if you are going for a Supreme Court judge, to the articles you wrote when you're in high school. Because you don't change. If you're a communist then, if you believed in bashing people, you know what I mean? If you believe that women should be beaten up at that time, you have not changed. Those things, they kind of stay with you, And so we went into Azimio and we had a few meetings and we were told, okay, we are forming a coalition. Not a coalition party, a coalition. A party and a coalition are two different things.
Right.
We're forming a coalition. And so we're told, bring your delegates. And we brought our delegates to Kenyatta International Conference Center. And these delegates from Maendeleo, Chap, Jubilee, all these 29 parties who are supporting Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga.
Yep.
When we were at KCC, we were told, bring your delegates by 9 in the morning. We'll start the meeting at 10. 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, nothing has started. Uhuru Kenyatta is missing in action. Raila Odinga is missing in action. We were told they are holed up at State House, first in Serena, then State House. They are going through the coalition agreement with Gideon Moi and Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka and a few others. We said, wait a minute, why can't we be in that group? If you're going through a coalition agreement for a coalition for all of us, shouldn't we be at that table?
We should all participate.
We should all participate, Then we were told, no, don't worry, we'll come and brief you,
Okay.
And then we got phone calls from Raila telling us there are a few things that Kalonzo is pushing, like Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance. We have to make sure we shoot it down at the plenary. So we'll have a plenary. We are working, but we're also being told to Kija also play this game.
Play this game.
Because this person has come last minute because he was not supporting us and he's neither here nor there. We can't trust him and everything. Eventually, Raila showed up a bit late. People have been waiting. I think it was about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. Since morning, 9 o'clock. Watu wametoka Kapenguria, wengine wametoka Emali, wengine wametoka Lunga. People have come of the different parties. Kingi brought his people, everybody. And then Raila told us, we've looked at the coalition and we're going to call it One Kenya Coalition, blah, blah, One Kenya Alliance. It's okay, we've agreed. And then he said it's going to have 6 principles. It's going to have 2 people from ODM, 2 people from Jubilee, and 2 people from Wiper or Oka. Then he said, wait a minute, but those are three parties. What about the rest of us? We are not even included in the leadership.
Who are the rest at this point?
The rest are myself, Muungano, NAC, the party for Keleto Murungi, PNU, PA, quite a number of small political parties.
Okay.
But when you put them together, they control nearly 40% of, elected members. And Raila told me, don't worry, everything has been taken care of. Before they came, I had been appointed as the spokesperson for the members of the small groups of the smaller parties. And we're not that small because I have 4 parliamentary members under my law chapter, over 40 MCAs. So, I have elected members serving and voting in the House. Raila, we told him, no, that can't hold. So we agreed we're going to add 2 more people to represent the other parties. So we'll choose the 2 to sit there, we'll amend. But then we said, I remember Keleto Murungi said, how can we adopt a document that we have not seen? And we said, no, we agreed that we have to look at that document before we go to the plenary.
Okay.
Then President Uhuru Kenyatta came in. He came in accompanied by Gideon Moi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and a few other people. And they didn't want any amendments. So when I started raising these concerns, President Uhuru Kenyatta cut me off, said, no, stop. Then people said, no, we appointed MUTUA as a spokesperson. So I raised the concern about adding 2 people. Kalonzo was against it. And then Gideon Moi said, it's okay, it's actually democracy. So that was adopted. We'll have more people and everything. Then we said, because it's not a big document, when we go to the plenary, let it be read phrase by phrase. Then we adopt it.
To everybody.
To everybody. Everybody. You say, number 1, party. Number 2, it stands. Number 3. So it's read. It's not a big document. We've been here since morning, even if it takes 2 hours. So clause by clause, all in favor say aye, amendments on the floor. Then we all own it. Then it is ours. That is real democracy. Because we don't have time to go through it, because we have a big rally waiting at Jacaranda Gardens in Nairobi. Let's do it that way. So we go in. That's where now Ukora bit started. That's where now I'm calling it Azimio la Ukora, not Azimio la Umoja. So we go there and we sit down. Honorable Otiendo Molo stands up and he says, first point, presidential candidate for Azimio. It's not Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, just Azimio. Somebody proposed Raila Odinga. Second, Raila Odinga. All in favor? Aye. Raila Odinga became the presidential candidate.
Okay.
Of the coalition.
Okay.
Not coalition party. Coalition.
Okay.
Okay. And then now we wait for the second phrase. Second line. Mheshimiwa Kanini Kega stands up and says, sasa twende tuweke sahi. We look at each other. What are we signing? So twende ODM, Secretary General, Waipa, Manilo Chap, Jubilee, go and sign. So I ask around what is going on. Then I'm told, don't worry, we are trying to fix Kalonzo. Because it's a bit slippery. Want to finish this thing. He signs. No, that's exactly what I was told. He signs so that when he's in, don't worry, by this you'll get all the documents and we'll amend them anyway with time.
Okay.
So, when you're told that by your bosses, you think, okay, these people know what they're doing. They mean well, We
Plus
need
it's Kalonzo being fixed.
It's Kalonzo. We are trying to fix Kalonzo.
all right.
We are trying to fix Kalonzo in here. Watch aingie Kwanza and then we deal with him. We want him to say Raila Tosha.
Okay.
When my Secretary General goes to sign, he texts me, he said, wait a minute. He calls me, actually pick the phone. He says, there's nothing here. There's no document. We've only been given a piece of paper with a name, Manilo Chap, to sign on top. There's no attached document. And he's a lawyer. It's called Wakili Namomati. He's running for senator of Kitui. He said, how can we sign a document that we've not seen? Kingi calls me, says, this is what is going on here? And then we confer with a few others. And then my Secretary General tells me it's okay anyway, because a document is not very binding unless it's got other attachments and you sign on every page. So I tell him, just go ahead as a mark of good faith. You always give them benefit of the doubt.
You're the spokesperson of these other smaller parties.
Yes.
So, Kiraito Murongi's party is represented. He's a seasoned lawyer. He tells the Secretary General, go ahead and sign.
No, you see, we've been hijacked.
Muungano party,
we've been
represented
hijacked.
by Professor
Kibwana,
Kibwana, and also a very seasoned lawyer, tells the Secretary General, go ahead and sign. Governor Kingi is a lawyer, tells the Secretary General, hata kama ni ukora, sign. So all these people said, let's sign.
Because of you believe in good faith.
Okay.
When people are senior, as President Uhuru Kenyatta, when somebody as senior as Raila Amolo Odinga tells you, do not worry.
We've got your back.
We're just signing to got your back. We're just fixing Kalonzo. And you, by the end of this session, you'll get your documents. You'll go through it and you'll make amendments. You take their word for it.
Okay.
You don't start telling, hey, Raila Odinga, I'm a lawyer. I cannot do, what I mean? But Kingi did not sign. Kingi got a gut feeling. He refused for his Secretary General to sign. The rest of us signed. Alione Mbali. We never got the document. Whatever we signed on that last page, we never saw the actual document. A few weeks later, my Secretary General is called to sign another document. Now the proper coalition. Now he calls me, he says, I'm seeing it is no longer a coalition, it is now a political party. We're now forming a political party. We never discussed. People are coalescing themselves and making amendments and doing their things. They are not consulting us. It was a game of 2 players, 2 or 3 players. And in that document, the things we talked about adding were not there. So I told him, don't sign. And they said they are not allowing me to look at the document. By the time I look at 2 pages, they pull it away. He was very angry. He said he's a seasoned lawyer. He stands at the Supreme Court. Even Supreme Court judges tell him, go through a document before you can. They want him to sign a document. They are not allowing him to even read it. Ukora.
Who are they
Ukora.
at this point?
These are the lawyers, and they say they have been instructed.
Okay.
They have been given instructions by the principals, which means Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta. I've told them, don't let them read. That's our reading. So we held a meeting, and we nominate Professor Kivutha Kibwana to go and look at that document. Kivutha Kibwana goes and looks at the document. Same behavior. They're not allowing him. But he manages to go through it a little bit, and he comes back, and we hold a meeting, and he told us they've introduced phrases for zoning, which mean they'll say this side is locked for Wiper, this side is locked for ODM, this side locked for Jubilee. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the rest of you small parties, either you are swallowed or no, you can't fight for it, because once you're again in the coalition, you cannot. They present an Azimio certificate. You're done for. That's what we call the press conference. And we said the following day, in the morning, I was holding a meeting at KICC also of my party aspirants. Ukoro unaendelea tu. And President Uhuru Kenyatta called me, and he said, have you talked to Raila? I said, yes, I was told that there's a meeting. I had been told there's a meeting, I think, by somebody with the rest of the team to go through the document. But I have my over 500 aspirants waiting, and they have come from all over the country. So he said, okay, Maliza, and then go and see Raila. Everything has been sorted. We'll go through the document. Everything is good. I'm in my meeting. Raila keeps on calling me because, yes, he was in another meeting. I get that. And I was not there. And he thought it's important for me to be there for that phase of being together. So I had my meeting. I even told my people, this is a phone call from Raila Odinga. Let me go.
Yep.
I rushed to the meeting. I think they had just finished the meeting. And I knew I would get to the meeting. I would be briefed. And then we would own the thing together, because I told my delegates, let me go find out what's happening. I get to the meeting, they say, oh, MUTUA has come. MUTUA ameingia, okay, tupige picha. Nikaekwa hapo, tukapiga picha. Raila amekaa hapo, Mother Karua akakaa hapo next to me or somewhere there, Ngilo and the other people, tukapiga picha. Kupiga picha, mimi nafikiri na somebody is briefing me, Raila akaingia kwa gari, shup, akaenda. Watu wakaingia kwa gari, shup, wakaenda. Nikaacha secretary, what is going on here? So I called Raila. I said, what is going on? I stopped my session to run here, and I come, we do a photo opportunity, we all look happy for the newspapers and media, and then but everybody takes off. They said, no, talk to Dr. Makau MUTUA, he'll brief you. So eventually, I say, can I see the document? No document. We see Makau MUTUA, we meet him at a hotel here in Nairobi with part of my team. And Makau MUTUA does not come with a document. He comes with assurances, I will change this. I said, what is so hard about seeing the document? I mean, I could go on and on. Eventually, another document came up. We were able to look at it. We signed it, but they didn't give us a copy. And then we were told by insiders that they had changed things in that document that was taken to the Registrar of Persons. So there was a lot of shiftiness. But then the one thing that made
Let's take a break, and then you can continue with this. Because what we are hearing you say, Dr. MUTUA, is that as party leader, you were not treated...
Not just party leader. I saw a tendency of people being dishonest. Dishonest from the word go. You've not even formed government. You've not campaigned. But they're already dishonest. And people were there to fix others. People are there to play games. And people who did not want... And I'll explain how I had a long conversation with Uhuru Kenyatta, which made him very angry. Because I was demanding to know what is it in there for Maendeleo Chap and Lukambani in whatever you want us to get into. What are we getting out of it? What roads are being built? I wanted specifics, and they did not want to talk about specifics.
Let's continue with that after the break.
Thank you.
Kenya's biggest conversation, 29 minutes to 9. Dr. ALFRED MUTUA, the governor of Machakos County, the party leader of Maendeleo Chap, is here with us in the studio, and he's telling us why he left Azimio and went to Kenya Kwanza. And what's the difference? What's in it for the people, the supporters of Maendeleo Chap Chap?
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
CT Muga Nduoko Eric Latif. Our guest is the governor of Machakos County, Dr. ALFRED MUTUA, who is also the party leader of Maendeleo Chap Chap. We are talking about his move and the party's move from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza. Dr. MUTUA, you've told us there a whole story of what was happening around the signing of and the formation of the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition party, and the signing and the back and forth that you're having with the seeing what you are signing. It sounds like all along you people were all playing along, even as you were asking questions. What you were entertaining us in public was the conversation and the show of unity. So when you, for example, that meeting that you were holding with your party members of Maendeleo Chap Chap, and it's also captured online with you saying, huyu ni Raila ananipigia, wacha niende, unajua baba anapiga simu, and then you go and the next thing is you're shaking hands, and in fact you're standing next to Raila and you're shaking hands and you're saying things are fine. How are we to believe that things were not what you were presenting to us?
I mean, it's very simple. We were putting up a face. When you've got issues, you don't want your issues to be out in front. You try to sort them out within. And God knows we tried. I tried myself sorting out these things. I expressed my displeasure. I tried to reach out as much as possible, but we're being taken for granted. Our job ilikuwa tu kujaza lori. We're not really needed. Kazi yetu ilikuwa tu kujaza lori and continue. And there's one time I met William Ruto sent somebody to talk to me. And he said, no, well, let's have a conversation. Because I realized in this other end, I think he got a sense that I was being frustrated. He could tell being frustrated, taken for granted. And I met him. Actually, he came to a certain shopping mall and I picked him up. And he sat in my car and we drove around the streets of Nairobi and had a long chat in the evening. And went and parked somewhere and we talked for a long time. And I asked him what happened with you and Uhuru Kenyatta. He told me, what is it, what is there, everything. And the thing that impressed me about Ruto, the conversation we had in my car was not about me. It was not about come and you will get this or this or this. I think this was the thing that flipped for me. The conversation that I had with Ruto was, this is what we want to do for Kenya. Umeona hii iko hivi. Umeona vile mafuta imepanda. Umeona vile hakuna ajira. Umeona vile the price of food. Fertilizer make up 6,500. We can lower it to this. Umeona vile imeenda. Have you seen this? It was all about Kenya. And so we had a debate and an interrogation for about 2 hours. Not about MUTUA ukija utapata hii. No. It was all about Kenya. How are we going to make our roads cheaper? Why is it expensive? What happened to the SGR? What happened? You know what I mean? So I realized, and you could tell the guy was passionate. It was not a show. Passionate, and I've seen it, about Kenya, about where we are, what happened to the dream we had.
He put up
what
a good
happened
pitch.
to everything. He put a good pitch.
And he made you feel important. He made you feel that we are engaging, telling you, I will sort you out, but telling you.
And we never discussed about kuja, tutakufanya hivi, you'll be this one. No. He was talking about the country. Maybe he had read me well. Because, me, I'm a person of development. But I've also seen him after this. Every meeting that we hold, because he's a very hardworking guy, we meet in the morning, we talk strategy. We are not talking about how do we win. Most of the time we are talking about, okay, these are challenges facing Kenyans. What do we need to do when we get into government? What do we need to put in our manifesto? But will that be really work? How do we fund it? Will that really work? You know what I mean? So I saw a commitment in changing the fortunes of our people. And I told him, nimekutokana sana. Sema hii ni mambo ya siasa.
Was it enough for you to change your initial perception of him? Because you were very, you were very vocal about what you felt about him before. Politically,
but see, I had also,
so this 2-hour ride, the 2-hour ride in the car was enough for you to then change your perception.
It was enough for me to place doubt into how I had seen him before. And we had subsequent meetings. You don't change your mind on just the first meeting. But I think that convinced me. But also, the thing that really worried me about being in Azimio was the fact that I'm very, and I always say this, that I'm very fond of Raila Odinga. I'm very fond of Ida, that family. I have a very soft spot for them. He's a nice guy. But he's a shadow of what Raila used to be. He's not the same person who we used to see fighting for liberation and do as things. He's tired. And he is, and I say this with no fear of contradiction, Raila Amolo Odinga is a project. He's not his own man. He's a project that is being used for ends of means. And I'll clarify here why I think.
Did you notice this?
I noticed this even throughout the interaction. I noticed this because, and I don't want to divulge some things that I had conversation with others, including the president, but it was very clear the fixing that was going on was also being, I was also at one time told to help in fixing Raila, in a way, because he's a project. And to tell you it's a project, look at the Azimio Party. Who is in the leadership of the Azimio Party? The chairman of Azimio Party is President Uhuru Kenyatta. He's retiring. Raila is the presidential candidate. And the way the structure is in Azimio, he is not the on top. He's not the one who is in charge of Azimio. The one who is in Azimio, the one who is the boss of Azimio today, is none other than President Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila ni mtu wake wa mkono kama presidential candidate wake wa Azimio. When a meeting is called,
and when did you realize this?
When we saw the coalition document, these are things that accumulate with time. Unaona una brush aside, unaona inajipanga, eventually it occurs to you, this is what is happening. And then now you hear the frustrations of Raila, for example. You and I think one time you commented, Raila used to have these lavish fundraisers. Nakumbuka, $1 million a plate. Remember those for years? And people would come and raise billions for him. Raila has not raised billions this time. He's not held any fundraiser because aliambiwa will fund you. And I was at a function once in I believe it was Muranga, where he was frustrated and others around were frustrated that the money coming in from the side sponsoring him, because it's a project, was coming in like medicine, tembe by tembe. And that's why at times you see Raila will go for periods of time, 2 weeks, he's not on the ground because there's no cash coming in. Because he's being controlled.
But why would
money coming in?
Why would he allow himself to be controlled? I think you've said,
he got himself into a place where he could not come out. And because what Raila Amolo Odinga wants to be is to be president of the Republic of Kenya. And whatever will make him president, he'll go for it. And I did not feel that what Raila Amolo Odinga wants to be is a person who will change this country for the better. No, is to be the president of the Republic. And the way the Azimio coalition has been set up, it's divided into 50-50. Uhuru Kenyatta still controls as a chairman. I was hoping that he would retire. But
why would he retire?
Sorry?
Why would he retire?
Why did Obama retire? Why did Bill Clinton retire? Why did others retire? We're in a democracy. You've served your term. Why did Mwai Kibaki retire? You've served your term politically for 2 terms, and this is where the ideology, then this is where now binafsi unakuja katika nchi yetu. Kikwete retired. Jakaya Kikwete
they
retired.
retire from the presidency.
Yes.
But does it mean they've retired from politics?
No, you can retire but you see, you can retire from active politics. You don't retire from active politics when you form a coalition party where you make yourself the chairman, because nobody appointed him the chairman. We were told Uhuru Kenyatta is the chairman. And all those people were just chosen on a piece of paper. Even when they eventually, there's one time I decided I'm going to go to Ruto and forget this. And I was going to meet some people in Mombasa and Mheshimiwa Tuju, who I respect very much. And Tuju is a very nice guy, by the way, if you guys don't know, I like him. And I'm Mombasa, he called me, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Mombasa. No, come back, we need to talk. Where you're going is not right. I said, I'll call you. I got to Mombasa, I had a meeting. Following day I came, I called Tuju. I said, I'm back. He said, can you come and see me in Karen? I said, I'm meeting my team in my office in Nairobi, and then I can come see you. And then I talked to the president, and I talked to the President Uhuru Kenyatta from the airport all the way to my offices in Lavington. For 40 minutes. We talked to the president. And he was trying to convince me telling me, no, listen, no, that's not the wrong place. You need to be here. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. And I was telling the president, but I don't have specificity. I want to know, what are we getting in Ukambani? My people in Ukambani asking me, my people, my little chap asking me, what are we getting in Meru? What are we getting in I have elected members in Tana River. They're asking me.
So now that you've switched,
and
what
then,
are you getting?
And then also, what am I getting myself in this share of government? Because the coalition...
You must have been comparing.
So
and
then
I was
what are you
comparing.
getting?
You were negotiating.
I was
because
negotiating.
already Ruto has promised you.
Has promised me that
this and the other.
that we'll have mega dams. I want to remove this shame that ukiona mkambo unamwambia unaonekana uko na kiu, hakuna maji kwenu. I want to remove this shame of water.
So
I want to put mega dams in every constituency in Machakos,
Are
in
you saying that
Makueni,
this
in
government
Kitui. You know what I mean?
did not initiate any projects that would bring dams into Kambani? Don't
No,
we
they
already
did.
have projects?
No, they did. But you see, it's not what you've done, it's what more can you do to alleviate? Because even with the dams and the projects that have been done and the projects that I have also personally done, it's still not enough. So I'm thinking, okay, we've reached here. What more are we getting? And I wanted specificity. Maybe it's my problem that I want clarity.
You want clarity.
That I want clarity. I want commitment. That my people will say, MUTUA served. He was in this coalition, and we got the following benefits.
He delivered
So that
this
even the
time, yeah.
children who are not born today will not undergo the shame that my children, that my cousins are undergoing today.
Can I ask you a question?
And at times, I think at times in life, there comes a time when as a leader, you have to say, what is it in there for my people? What is it in there that will permanently
There are
change
4 Kamba
my
leaders
people?
in Azimio.
Yes.
There's Professor Kivuda, there's Charity Ngilu, there's Kalonzo Musyoka himself, and then there was you.
There's
Yes.
MUTUA Katuku as well.
Yes, these are all Kambas.
Yes.
And each of them has their party. And they're all asking what is in it for the Kamba people. Now, the others have stayed. So are you saying that when they ask the question for what is in it for the Kamba nation, that their ask is different from yours?
Yeah, I think and they're accepting the answer they're being given. And the answer they're being given is the one that I was given. Don't worry. Let's go hunt. Once we kill the animal, we'll share the spoils.
So you're
That's what I was
saying
told. And
that
for me,
all
I'm saying-
these Kamba leaders
Yes, exactly.
seem to have accepted what you consider to be the short end of the stick.
And
And
maybe-
yet you refuse to receive that, what you consider the short end of the stick. And what you wanted was, in essence, better than what they have accepted.
And it's the same reason Nelson Mandela decided to stay in prison rather than to
to
accept
come
the
out.
short end of the stick that
Okay.
others were ready to accept for his people. Because there comes a time when a leader has to stand aside and say, I'm not going to go with the majority
I want to
from
stand
the
up.
region.
Dr.
I
Musyoka,
want
could
to
you then
go
be-
with what is better for my
your
people.
All right.
Yes.
So what else then was in this negotiation that came out for your people? What else were you promised? What negotiated? And
Yes.
then what has come to your table?
What was also negotiated was that I would be at the front and center in the decision making of Kenya Kwanza, together with the others. That we would be there deciding on the projects that need to be done, deciding on how the coalition will be run, deciding on how we are going to unravel this, because they quickly got understood. And I said, I need my manifesto captured as part of Kenya Kwanza, because we had sat down with very deep thinkers and came up with a very strong manifesto for this country. It's not just about bottom up. As we come bottom up, we need to widen the base. We need to do things like lower taxes. They are killing our people in Kenya. We're being taxed to death, if I can say that, And there was agreement in terms of those things. And then there was also the aspect of sharing government, which is very important, because you're going into a coalition to share government. And one of the things that really convinced me was when Ruto told me, he said, you came late. This is what is on the table. In terms of government positions, the running mate
Is taken.
is going to a certain area.
Okay.
That's taken. Running
Speaker-
mate is taken.
Chief Minister.
He said Chief Minister is going to Mudavadi. That's taken.
Speaker of the Senate.
No. What is it called? The Speaker of the National Assembly is going to this person. This is what I'm going to form. I was the one who came up with the concept of having a chief minister like Matiang'i, blah, 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 blah. But then it was taken badly. It was never actualized properly. Did not get the concept. I'm going to have a chief minister, deputy chief ministers, and different portfolios, blah, 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 blah. So we discussed all those things. And then he said, okay, what happens if things go south? Yes, you're saying it.
Going south is you don't win.
We don't win.
Okay.
I'm young politically. So we looked at options. Okay. If we don't win, we'll make you Speaker of the Senate. Because we are bound to get the majority. When you look at the polls and the people will control the Senate, you'll come in as Speaker of the Senate. And if we win, because the position of Chief Minister is gone, you'll be the Deputy Chief Minister. And I said, okay, let me choose the portfolio I want. And we haggled about the portfolio. You are thinking health. You've done a good job in health. I said, I want health. Health is okay, but I want places where I can change. I said, I want infrastructure, either roads or water. That's what I'm known for. That I build roads, I dig water, and we agreed. So these are things. And the good thing is that he said, whatever we write, we are going to put it in writing, in black and white, everything. And then after that, with all the conversations.
Have they been put in writing?
Yeah, they've been put in writing and signed.
And registered with the
Georgia's and everything has been done. But then it changed. Because within all that spectrum, we got a bit confused. My members and everything got confused. It's like you're detaching yourself from the body that you've had for a long time in Azimio and everything.
Selling yourself short.
And no. You're getting out of Azimio. You are there. It took a while for my people to get it. So instead of going to Ruto, we decided to remain in Azimio because they promised to change. They said, you come, we'll negotiate. And so we went and we signed a document and we remained in Azimio and we had a press conference. But all the promises they made to us that we'll sit down, we'll do this, we'll discuss, nothing came to fruition. They stopped picking our calls. I would call President Uhuru Kenyatta. As soon as we got in, Kabisa, stop picking our calls. Then my member said, it is true what you're telling us. These guys are con artists. So by the time we went back to Ruto to negotiate now, we found that now my friend Kingi had already come on board and had already taken the position of Speaker of the Senate. That's how now we said we change it to be majority-minority leader if things go south. So we got a document. But what is more important in that document is not even the positions. Yes, we got 20% of government. 30% is taken by... what do you say?
20% of government. What does that mean? Of cabinet positions?
Of sharing government. Of sharing government.
So this is cabinet positions,
cabinet
principal
and
secretary.
others, yeah. So you get of sharing government and everything. So it means that 30% went to Mudavadi and Wetangula. That's in public domain. And then I get 20%. That makes us 50%. Then UDA takes 30%.
Okay.
And then the other 20% is shared among the other 10 parties that are there, because they also need 2%, 5%, very democratic. And the good thing is that when these things are discussed, everybody is sitting on the table. Everybody knows what MUTUA is getting. Everybody knows what you are getting. Everybody knows. There's no hidden card. There are no surprises. Everybody knows. And the documents are put in front of you, and you all sign together with the lawyers hovering over you. There is no hidden card. No ukora. You know what I mean? You don't like a phrase, you debate about it. We agree, it is changed, it is brought back. Real democracy. And I like that about Ruto. Ruto would say, Pana, let's work on it until everybody is satisfied. Because this is our document. This is our agreement. And the most important thing is it's not just about the sharing of government of permanent secretaries and everything. We're getting 3 ministers, as for my little chap. We're getting all these permanent secretary ambassadors. It is the addendum. The projects that I'm attaching, that is what is making me happy.
You have a copy of this
I've got,
agreement.
And I have a copy. And after that, you all sign it and you all take copies home. And they register it, they give you a copy. So the other Azimio mpaka leo hatujaiona. Even the one in Azimio registered, we asked the registered person to give it to us. We wrote to her in writing. We wrote to Azimio 4 times. Up to now, but I don't have a copy because I do believe they changed it.
The registrar has told you can't leave Azimio.
Yeah, but
the nature of the agreement.
Yeah, they say you can't leave Azimio, but we say that the constitution is very clear. And there's a higher constitutional power in this kind that says you cannot be forced to be in a relationship that you don't want to be in.
Okay. Let's take a break.
And there's already we're waiting for a judicial review, and we know that we will win that judicial review. But it doesn't matter. We're already in there. whether they like it or not.
Dr. MUTUA, I want to say goodbye to the audience on KTN Home who've been with us since the top of the hour. The conversations continue on SpiceFM. We're just about to conclude the conversation with Dr. ALFRED MUTUA, the governor of Machakos County.
But before they go,
leader
can I
of
say something?
Maendeleo Chap Chap. No.
Okay.
Let's allow them to go and then we continue.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Okay. Say something.
Oh, we're still...
Yes.
Oh,
You
we're
still have an
still...
opportunity to speak.
Oh, ilikuwa tu
We were just
ulikuwa
saying
unafukuza hao.
goodbye to
Ulikuwa unawafukuza hao.
yes, atuwafukuzi.
Ulikuwa unaambia we'll see you later.
Tunawaaga kwa heri.
Unaaga kwa heri.
In a minute.
Waende mahali ndio muamisi kidogo ndio arudi.
Yes.
In a minute.
Yeah, in a minute. Because also I have to run.
Yeah.
You know, you are very right about consistency. You're very right about what is your ideology. I really care about this country. You know, I think, Latif, you have young kids. I have young kids. You know, I have teenagers. And we've seen the problems. And I went the problems that I went through growing up. Having lived in the US, having lived in Australia, having lived in the UAE, having traveled all over this world, Kenyans are being shortchanged. The type of government that we've had, the methodology of ruling that we've had, which is what they want to continue with Raila Odinga because it's a project, will not work for us. Because, you know, Kalonzo Musyoka, for example, is being conned. Si alisema ati atapewa five ministers, for example, which is a con. I think I can discuss this after get back because...
How do you know he's been given 5 ministers? You haven't seen the document.
No, si alisema hivyo. He alisema atapewa 5 ministers. Tukajiuliza how you give him 5 ministers because we already know, and I'll explain how.
We are concluding the conversation, Dr. MUTUA, because you're also going to the top of the hour and the news.
Let me just say this then. You know, you cannot get 5 ministers because already Uhuru Kenyatta is taking 10. Akina Munya, Balala, Matiang'i have been promised they'll still be in government. Akina Macharia. The other 10 is being taken by Raila. He's got Junet, Joho, if you can't, Akino Paranya, Ongwae, everybody. They're adding up to 8, 9. So he'll get his chief minister, nothing else. He's being conned also for him to believe that Raila can cede 5 and Uhuru can cede for him. The reason I am with William Ruto is because of the things that he has planned for this country. When you look at the bottom-up approach, the giving of credit to our people at the low levels to rise up so they don't pull down.
Why don't we do this?
Yes.
One of these days you come back, especially after you launch your manifesto.
So watch, I just finished this point. I just finished this point, 30 seconds.
We're already at the top of the news. The news.
Top news, okay.
Yeah, Dennis is already reading the news.
Okay.
So, Dr. MUTUA, accept our invitation. When you launch the manifesto and you have the Maendeleo Chap Chap manifesto in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, come. Let us talk about that manifesto.
Can I just have a parting shot then?
Say goodbye.
I just want to say thank you to the listeners who have been listening to us and to tell them that it is very important as you think about who to vote for. It's better to vote for somebody who is their own person than to vote for a project and look at the manifestos clearly in terms of where we are taking this country. Who really cares for you in this country? And if you see ALFRED MUTUA in a place, know that that's a place for development. That's not just a place for good politics or for fixing each other. Sisi tuko Kenya Kwanza, supporting William Ruto, ndio tulitoka kwa ile azimio la ukora.
Asante. Come again soon.